And this is start chapter 2 of me and us. And how we all freaking connected and do this shit over and 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 over until y'all motherfuckers get it right. And if you don't get it right, you're gonna be reincarnated. He's gonna kill y'all again. He's gonna make y'all look like whatever you wanna be and you don't wanna be. Just being honest and truthful. Y'all some dumbass motherfuckers each and every time of life. Some of you are, some of you not. Some of y'all do what's supposed to be right and some of y'all don't. Over and over and over. So, us being as one of the top of the higher powers
is indeed an actual mountain located in Greece, the highest in the country. There are those who believe that the gods never lived on the mountain.
But they did.
Olympus serves more as a metaphor,
did.
as it reflects the social hierarchy in Greek mythology. Mount Olympus being the highest point would naturally make sense as home of the gods, as they are elevated above all mortals, creatures and demigods, able to look down at those they will consider to be above and rule over. It's never something that really featured.
Okay, fuckers wants to get him back into
the
gears.
first story I was taught was that of Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun. Now in the grander scale of Greek mythology,
when
Icarus
Lucifer
is quite a minor
story
role,
comes
but there's
from.
no doubt that he's become an iconic figure, and his story is still told and retold to this day. It's likely that even if your knowledge of Greek mythology is limited, you would have heard the story of Icarus, or at least know the name.
And I will be back.
Today we'll be going over the story of Icarus and his father Daedalus, as we attempt to understand why the story has become so popular, and what exactly it means.
Well, this is your president of the universe.
The story takes us to the island of Crete during the rule of King Minos. Minos had the problem of where he would house the Minotaur as he ran rampant through his kingdom. To solve this issue, he enlisted the help of Daedalus, a master craftsman who had previously arrived in Crete after being exiled from Athens.
Real gods.
Daedalus was instructed to create a large labyrinth that was capable of holding the Minotaur.
Don't pay attention to
Minos was so pleased with Daedalus' work.
Do your real research. Go with your heart, your mind, on that shit. Listen to what other people say. All this shit is real stories, and all this shit is fake.
The downfall of Daedalus began with the arrival of the Athenian hero, Theseus, who with the help from Minos' daughter, Ariadne, and Daedalus himself, was able to slay the Minotaur and return from the labyrinth. He then set sail back to Athens with both of the king's
about
daughters.
Money anyway.
Naturally, Minos was infuriated by the actions of Daedalus and his daughter, conspiring against him with the Athenians.
A lot of stuff they don't do,
with his
a lot of stuff they're gonna do, a lot of stuff they
the blame
done
fell
did.
solely on Daedalus. Rather than lose his prized
will not
craftsman,
believe, and you will
Minos
believe.
decided against the execution of Daedalus.
Don't.
Instead, he locked both
You can't
Daedalus and
handle
his
it.
son
You're scared
Icarus
of the
away in
dark.
the
Don't
labyrinth
fuck with
that
it.
they created. There are some
Any
varying
questions?
sources that
You got-
suggest they were locked away in a tower, but personally I
To ask
prefer
the
the
right
irony
person.
of being locked away in a prison that you designed. Having designed the labyrinth, Icarus and Daedalus were aware that escape for most would be impossible. But Daedalus was not most men, and the master craftsman began surmising a plan for his son and himself to escape. Aware that they would have to leave Crete forever, Daedalus planned to do so through the skies, as there would be no chance in escaping with Minos' navy. Daedalus knew that he would have to construct a method of flying, but this was no easy task, as manned flight had never been undertaken before. It was thought that one morning, a flock of birds flew over the head of Daedalus, and he was instantly inspired, asking Icarus to collect all the feathers he could.
And all the feathers.
Just like the birds he had just seen,
So they had to be pretty darn big birds during that time.
When Icarus had amassed the required feathers, they were glued to the wooden frames using hot wax. Once Daedalus had crafted 2 pairs of wings, he carefully warned Icarus, telling him that the wings had many flaws, and flying too high in the sky would cause the wax that he used
Now
as
this
glue
is what
to melt,
Lucifer said
but flying too close to the sea
from the other story
would
I was
cause the
trying to
feathers
tell
to
you.
soak up the
Put them
excess
together,
seawater,
but
making them
didn't
too
have
heavy
time
to
and
fly.
shit.
The following day, Icarus and Daedalus decided that they would attempt to finally escape Crete. The two leapt in the air and began flapping their wings. The invention of Daedalus had worked, and both him and Icarus soared through the sky as they escaped Crete without being noticed. The further they flew, the more Icarus grew in confidence, but his confidence soon turned into overconfidence. Icarus was so overwhelmed by the feeling of flying that he believed he now knew what it felt like to be a god,
To be
and in
a
his
god,
newfound
to be
divinity,
a bird,
he disregarded
or
his
something
father's
flying, an
warnings.
animal.
He flew higher
Once
and higher,
again, about
as his
that.
father Daedalus could only watch him fly closer to the sun. The wax on
That's the same
Icarus'
thing
wings began
Lucifer
to melt,
said,
and
or
the
in the
feathers
other
attached to the
story,
wooden
the
frames
Holy
began to
Bible.
drop
The
off.
Bible.
When Icarus had finally realized how high he had flown, it was already too late, as he began to plummet, holding onto his bare wooden framed wings for dear life. Daedalus could do nothing but watch as Icarus plunged into the sea, dying upon impact.
To hell.
The area of water where Icarus landed would be known as the Icarian Sea, and the island where his body washed up upon would also be named Icaria, in memory of Icarus. In most variations of the story, after watching his son die, Daedalus flew to safety, where King Minos would begin his search for the craftsman, as he would not let him work for anyone else. The hero Heracles witnessed Icarus' death, and having recognized him as the son of Daedalus, he then performed the funeral rites so Daedalus could not.
Daedalus, when he was younger, that would be Jesus as a carpenter.
Over the years, people have taken dozens of meanings and morals
when
away
we say
from
Jesus
the
was
story
a
of
carpenter,
Icarus.
he did all this
On a very
and that.
basic level, the story
I
essentially
mean, he
tells us
did
to listen
have
to
a
our
son,
elders,
but his
but as we
son
delve
would
deeper,
be
the story means something
dead.
more. It highlights the carelessness of youth and some of the consequences that it may bring. We see Daedalus in his experience maintain level-headed while flying, whereas Icarus is overwhelmed and somewhat loses control, disregarding everything he was told and leading to his death. You could also see the death of Icarus as the gods punishing Daedalus and his son. In the eyes of the gods, men were never meant to fly, and as an attempt to elevate themselves to the level of the gods, Icarus was killed, and Daedalus faced a lifetime of guilt and regret. The story teaches us to remain level-headed, and somewhat warns against the pursuit of instant gratification. Icarus could have listened to his father, and once they were safe, he could have experienced the feeling of flying many more times. But he was unable to see the long-term picture, only concerned by how good it felt now.
Icarus and Luciferus was the same people. They both tried to fly, but they ended on top of evil. When they hit the ground would shake. Earth and heaven would never be the same.
If you enjoyed the video, then please let me know what you thought in the comments below. But as always, I've been your host, Mythology and Fiction Explained.
And I'm behind it.